It was 5-week shoot, very, very crazy. It was his first feature. It was in the blazing sunshine, made it for very, very little money, covered in fake blood, which basically is syrup that boils on you. And I was laying in a lot of it. Oh, hi, I'm Tim Roth, and this is Michelle.
Y esto es realmente yo.
What's that mean?
It's really me. This is who you really are supposed to be. Yeah.
It's him.
Bueno, vamos a ver qué dice la gente de nosotros en internet y platicar.
Okay, so this one says, what do I do to prepare my characters? Okay, so it depends on the character. This is actually a much more complicated question, I thought. What did we do? We just lived.
You ended up drinking a lot of beers.
We drank a lot of beer, unfortunately. When you start the script process, we start talking.
Yeah.
We start talking about character. Who is this person? I'm not a method actor. I don't live and breathe the character. I like to, once the day is done, I switch off.
¿Cómo construye una escena Michel Franco? Construyo la escena cuando escribo el guión, obviamente, ese es el primer paso. Pero a la hora de filmar es muy diferente. Le pido a los actores que lo hagan y según lo que me muestran, aunque está escrito de cierta manera, lo interpretan completamente desde otro ángulo. Lo filmo según lo que hacen los actores y si no nos gusta lo refilmamos. En mis películas terminadas a veces hay reshoots que hicimos por tercera o cuarta vez.
Okay, this is from possibly Twitter. This is what character's been the hardest to play. The hardest ones to play, there's two versions of that. The hardest ones to play are the ones you don't want to do. Sometimes crap is the most fun. But generally, they are depressing. Then there are the ones that you really want to be involved in, the films that you really want to play these people, or you want to work with a director, like I did with Michelle. But generally, as hard as they may be, characters like that, you love doing them. And so it makes them easier. So I would say the hardest characters are the ones you don't want to do, but you do out of necessity so that you can do the ones that you love, if that makes sense.
It does.
Okay.
¿Cuál es el siguiente paso una vez que me gusta un guión? Twitter. Salgo inmediatamente a buscar locaciones y pienso en qué actores o no actores pueden interpretar. O sea, voy a producirlo antes de buscar dinero. Como que el dinero nunca es lo más importante.
Okay. You're very succinct. Me, I ramble. Okay, The Legend of 1900 is a masterpiece. What memories or anecdotes does Tim have of that film? Okay, that was a complicated one. I can't play the piano. I can't play chopsticks. I cannot do any of it, and I had to be a genius piano player. So I had, I think, about 21 different sections of piano work that I had to learn the fingering precisely, and then just the general feel of it and the look of being a jazz pianist.
Se pone divertido ahora de Twitter. Michel Franco ha causado polémica por la crudeza en sus películas. ¿Cree Michel Franco que esa forma de retratar la realidad es parte de su sello como director? Nunca busco la crudeza y no estoy persiguiendo la violencia. Creo que al ser mexicano y he vivido toda mi vida aquí y me encanta mi país, sería muy falso como director ignorar pues, que es un país que se ha tornado muy violento y que es parte de nuestra vida diaria. Lo importante es que la violencia en mis películas nunca es algo que se disfruta. Siempre filmo la violencia de manera realista y cómo lidiar con ella o por qué no reaccionamos a la violencia como normalmente deberíamos.
Okay, how was experience of Reservoir Dogs? We shot it in 5 weeks. The script was extraordinary. The language that Quentin uses is very specific to him and the world that he likes to inhabit. As for an actor, it's quite poetic in a sense. It was 5-week shoot, very, very crazy. It was his first feature. It was in the blazing sunshine, made it for very, very little money, covered in fake blood, which basically is syrup that boils on you. And I was laying in a lot of it. One of my happiest And there were many happy experiences on that. But one of them happiest was at the end of the day when we wrapped, when we finished for work, we, as gradually, one by one, as a larger group covered in blood as the film progressed, we would get taken outside of the location and hosed down with very cold water. And that's one of my fondest memories. I don't think I've ever shared that. So there you go.
¿Por qué Michel Franco escogió Acapulco para su nueva película Sundown? De Facebook, la pregunta. Siempre quise filmar una película en Acapulco, en Caleta especialmente, porque me parece que no hay otro lugar en el mundo que se le parezca. De alguna manera, Sundown es una carta de amor para Acapulco, que es uno de mis lugares consentidos del país.
What was it like working with Quentin? I think I covered that a little bit in that with Quentin. This was not on Facebook. The energy that Quentin had when I first met him, and it was before he officially became a director, which was before we started shooting, is the energy that he has now. The difference that I find even over the years that I've known him is that he just has more resources now to tell his very strange and wonderful stories. When you get his dialogue, you learn it and you do it, and he moves you around. It's unusual, I think. He has a huge amount of energy. He laughs a lot, which sometimes makes the camera judder. So we have to do another take. Determined, strong-willed, but bizarrely and surprisingly flexible, I would say. Great director for actors.
¿Cómo fue dirigir a Charlotte Gainsbourg en Sundown? Y la pregunta es de Facebook.
Oh, possibly.
Possibly Facebook.
Yeah, possibly.
Can't be sure.
We'll never know.
Charlotte Gainsbourg es... Ni siquiera me atrevo a decir que es una actriz, es algo más que una actriz, es una artista increíble que su presencia, solo ponerla enfrente de la cámara ya hace maravillas. Es muy profesional y se aprende todos los diálogos y sabe exactamente, es muy sencilla y muy fácil para dialogar y trabajar, pero siempre está metida en su cabeza, en su universo, que es muy vasto y muy especial y no se parece a nadie, Charlotte.
What was the challenge for Roth? I like that. That reminds me of school. In playing Neil in Sundown, was to seemingly do nothing, which under the circumstances that you put me in Caleta, in Acapulco, is really hard to pull off. Doing nothing is very hard for actors, I would say. Or seeming to do nothing is very hard for actors. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, especially for this guy.
¿Cuál es el proyecto soñado de Michel Franco? He tenido suerte de filmar todo lo que he querido. Nunca ha sido fácil porque siempre es con menos dinero de lo ideal. No idealizar proyectos y a filmar cada película como se va presentando según las circunstancias. Y he tenido suerte de trabajar con Tim, por ejemplo, que es crecí viendo películas de adolescente, Reservoir Dogs y Little Odessa y películas de esa época.
I forgot about that one, yeah.
He tenido más suerte de lo que imaginaba y después pude hacer Nuevo Orden, que se antojaba imposible, ¿no? Una película sobre el colapso de un país y lo logré hacer, escribir, dirigir, producir. Entonces me siento afortunado en ese sentido.
What character would you like to play? This is definitely not on Instagram though, because I'm looking at it now. And
it's not Instagram.
As somebody, yeah, it's not. Wolverine? No, that's a joke. But kind of a good one. And, you know, maybe they should come to me for that. What would I like to play? I don't know, because they are out there. Something that's out there that's extraordinarily challenging and difficult. And when I've finished it, I walk away feeling that it's part of a film that I love. So there's that and Wolverine.
Both.
Oh, both. And it could be the same.
Could be the same.
Directed by, okay, Wolverine, no, directed by him. Yeah, that one.
No music, black and white.
With no music, yeah. Black and white, and barely any dialogue.
Yeah. What are the 3 films?
Oh, here we go.
You have to see in this life. That's for both of us.
There's a film directed by Ken Loach called Kes.
His first film.
Kes. Yeah. It's the beginning of an extraordinary filmmaker, British filmmaker, and such a beautiful and difficult story. about growing up.
I'd say Los Olvidados by Luis Buñuel,
There you go.
which is not far from Kes in some
That's
way.
not far. Yeah.
I like 8.5,
You do?
Fellini.
Oh, of course. Roma, then, if we're going to go down Fellini road, where do we go with that? That's tricky. Okay, you get a Fellini.
I got a Fellini.
You get a
There are
Fellini.
tons of Italian movies.
I would say De Sica. I will go with, which one though? That's a tricky one. Umberto?
Yeah,
Umberto did.
yeah. I think Umberto is my favorite.
Because
The
of
sequel.
what he did.
Yeah.
Okay, go your turn.
Well, continue with the Italians.
One more, you get one more.
It's Salò, Pasolini.
Oh, wow.
Salò. Yeah, heavy but
Wow, yeah.
special film.
I want to go somewhere.
Triumph of the Will.
Triumph of the Will?
It's a joke. It's a joke.
What? Wow. Or is it a joke?
I'm Jewish. It has to be a joke.
Well, I don't know. You could be a very... Okay, never mind. I'm going to go to an Alan Clark, I think,
Good call.
because he started me on my road. So I'm going to say a film called Scum, which is about the juvenile prison system in Britain at the time, and he was commissioned to do it by the BBC. He completed it and he shot it, and then the BBC themselves banned it when they saw it. So then he remade it as a film. But the original version of it that was done for the BBC, which you can track down, is by far the better. Anyway, very interesting.
I'll add Made in Britain by Alan Clark,
Which was the
starring
one
Tim Roth.
The one that
Fantastic
started me.
movie.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, this is for me again. Favorite project? That's hard with Michelle sitting right next to me.
Yeah, you
but
gotta lie.
definitely, his are right up there. And I would say going back, Alan Clark, because it was day one. So you go to, there were things that I did. The one I did with Alan Clark was Made in Britain, and swiftly followed by a Mike Leigh film called Meantime, then a Stephen Frears film called The Hit. So 1, 2, 3, and that got me started. And then your stuff, because it's unique and individual, and that's not a flattery thing, that's just a fact. Because I feel like I'm actually making films as opposed to paying the rent. Okay.
Wait, you're not paying the rent with our films.
Definitely not with his films. Just pay you.
¿Cuál es la escena que más trabajo le ha costado dirigir a Michel Franco y por qué? Bueno, hay muchas escenas. El final de Chronic fue difícil. No spoilers.
No spoilers,
The
but
final
I
scene
see
of
why.
Chronic, yeah.
And also
Complicated.
because it was an emotional conversation,
Yeah,
whether to or not.
yeah.
That was a big.
That was
and what was okay? Never mind. Yeah,
very hard.
It's a good one.
Endings. The end of After Lucia. Después de Lucia también fue complicado de filmar. Y muchas escenas de nuevo orden.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
La interrupción de la boda, muy compleja. Twitter, ¿cuál es mi director favorito? Pasolini, por eso
really?
le puse, yeah, that's why I renamed the company Teorema. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Pasolini is the best, like very free and unusual.
Yeah,
and he
wild
paid
life.
with his life, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they
completely.
murder him.
Yeah, yeah.
And Fassbinder, I love Fassbinder.
Yeah.
But,
Fellini too.
pero si tengo que escoger un director, Luis Buñuel, por mucho.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buñuel's the best. But we can keep running, so let's get to the next.
Yeah. All right. What we do? Oh, what was it like working with Michael Haneke on Funny Games? I didn't want to do it. I read the script and went, I do not want to do this film. My agent type person called me up and said, you need to watch the original version. I watched it and went, oh my God, okay, I have to do it. I have no choice. It was very difficult, just because of the subject matter, and also because we were shooting the exact same shots. We were reproducing them, but doing them in the English language. Originally, Michael had wanted to do it in the English language. He felt that was actually part of the story he was going to tell, but he couldn't afford to. It was a very, very difficult time, very hard to reproduce those sequences and get them right for him. And I thought I was going to be the one that was in tears, but that was just generally during filming on camera. But for Haneke, it was I think one of the most stressful times that he'd had as a filmmaker. So one of my fondest memories, and loveliest memories is of him weeping on my shoulder and me having to walk him.
¿Cuál es el próximo proyecto de Michel Franco?
Okay.
Estoy editando una película que filmé en Nueva York, en Brooklyn, la mayor parte, con Peter Sarsgaard y Jessica Chastain.
What's your favorite Pulp Fiction memory? I have loads, all of it. I met with Quentin. We'd finished the Reservoir Dogs thing, and we were talking about what do you want to do? What next? What do you want to do next? And I was Amanda Plummer's date. And I made sure I was for a premiere of Fisher King that she did with Terry Gilliam. And the reason I said I was going to be her escort was because I knew that she would forget that it was happening that night. So, and sure enough, she did. But I made sure that the car came and picked me up first, so that then we could go and round her up and get her to the cinema. Sure enough, she forgot, so we had to throw a frock on her and ruffle her hair a bit and chuck her in the car and get moving. So we got to the cinema, she did the press line, and then she sat through the film, whatever. Afterwards, we were talking, Terry Gilliam was there, and Quentin came up and said, we were talking about, we were actually, this question, maybe Quentin wrote in, it might be that. He said, what do you want to do next? I said, whatever it is, I want to work with her, with Amanda Plummer, and I want you to put a gun in her hand, because there's nothing more dangerous than the notion of Amanda Plummer with a gun in her hand. And he went away and wrote it, and that's Honey, Bunny and Pumpkin. That's all I got. I think that's it, isn't it?
It is.
We finished on an interesting note. Thank you. Is it QG or GQ?
GQ.
GQ? Yeah, thanks. Possibly. Yes, I think so. Yeah. Thanks, QG.
Si quieren ver más contenido, entren a este link.
Va, perfecto.
Hay que dejar.
Vamos a cortar.
Ok, corté.